Hey Algebra 1, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking at Lesson 9.3, Part 3, the distance formula and midpoint formula. We're going to look for 7 things to write down in our notes. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we want to talk about is kind of a play off of what you just learned the day before, which is the Pythagorean theorem. If given the points K through L, or if given the points of a triangle looking at a graph, we would easily be able to find the distance between K and L, because what we could do is count the distance between L and N, and that is 1, 2, 3 units, and then N through K is 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and since this is a right triangle, we could use the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, okay? But what we're looking at today is, what if we're just given 2 points and not given the option to graph? That is where this distance formula is going to come in. You are going to get this formula on your test, so you don't have to memorize it, you just need to know how to apply it. So what we're going to do is go ahead and copy this down for number 1 on our notes. The distance formula between any 2 points can be found by finding the square root of x subscript 2 minus x subscript 1 squared plus the same thing for y2 minus y1 squared. Let's go ahead and pause so you can write down number 1, and then in number 2 you're going to try it to see how it goes. So here's number 2. It says find the distance between 1, 5 and -4, -2. We're going to try to express our answer as a simplified radical and then as a decimal rounded to the nearest tenth. So a calculator is definitely going to be your friend here. So you do want to make sure that you have that. What I would do is I just go ahead and label the points before I begin. So I'm going to say that the first set is x1, y1, and the second set will be x2, y2. So all you're going to do is plug in those values and then solve for distance. Let's go ahead and pause for number 2. Try this one on your own and then click play to see if you got it right. Alright, so since I already determined that x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, I'm going to go ahead and plug those into my formula. So it's under all this big radical. So x2 minus x1 is -4 minus 1 squared plus y2 minus y1. So that's -2 minus 5 squared. It doesn't matter which set would be the 1s and which set would be the 2s, just as long as you pick one set being the 1s and one set being the 2s, because you'll eventually get the same answer regardless. Then we're going to go and simplify. -4 minus 1, that's -5 squared, and then -2 minus 5, that's -7 squared. -5 squared is 25, and -7 squared is 49. We're going to add those together, and we're going to get the square root of 74, which is your simplified radical, and then we're going to put this in a decimal form rounded to the nearest tenth using a calculator, and we should get about 8.6. We are going to talk about distance here, so distance can only be recommended in a positive term, so we don't have to worry about the positive and negative symbol. So my answer is the square root of 74, which is about 8.6. So here's number 3. Again, let's go ahead and try to find the distance between 0, 0 and 4, 5. Again, what I would do is go ahead and say your first set is x1, y1, your second set is x2, y2. Let's go ahead and pause here, do the same thing we did in number 2, and then click play to check your work. Alright, so in number 3 I said the first set was x1, y1, and then the second set was x2, y2. So we're going to go and just plug that into our formula. So x2 minus x1, that's 4 minus 0 squared, and then y2 minus y1 would be 5 minus 0 squared. So here I'm going to get 4 squared plus 5 squared. That would give us 16 plus 25, and then 16 plus 25 is going to give us the square root of 41. So here's my simplified radical, and then I also use the calculator to find my decimal rounded to the nearest tenth, which is approximately 6.4. Okay? Last one for the distance, and then we're going to talk about midpoint. Again, let's go and find the distance between these 2 points. Be very careful on how you subtract these, because a minus and negative will give you a plus positive. So let's go ahead and pause here so you can try number 4 in your notes, and then once you're done, click play to check. So on number 4 again, I just said my first set is x1, y1, second set is x2, y2. So plugging this in, I'm going to have -5 minus -2 for x2 minus x1 squared plus 1 minus -3 squared. Remember, minus and negative is going to change to plus positive. So plus positive for both of those. So now I have this. Negative 5 plus positive 2 is negative 3 squared. And then 1 plus positive 3 is 4 squared. Negative 3 squared is going to give me 9, and 4 squared will give me 16. So I'm finding the square root of 25, which is equal to a solid number of 5. So just be careful again when you subtract negatives. The last thing we're going to learn in our notes today is the midpoint formula, and you're still going to be given 2 points like you've seen before, except this time to find the midpoint of a line segment, we're going to do the averages of the x's plus the averages of the y's. So essentially, this right here is what we're writing down. Make sure you label it the midpoint formula so you know what the heck you're writing down. You will be given this on your test. You just have to know how to apply it. So let's go ahead and pause for number 5. Write this down in your notes, and then 6 and 7, we're going to try it. So here's number 6. Again, what I would do before you try your midpoint formula is start off by labeling x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay? So let's go ahead and pause here. You're going to find the averages of your x's and then your averages of your y's, essentially. All right, so what we did for this one, I did 7 plus 9 divided by 2, comma, negative 3 plus 6 divided by 2. That's going to give me 16 divided by 2 and 3 divided by 2. So you can say your midpoint of the line segment is 8, comma, 1.5. Okay. Same thing for 7. Again, go ahead and label them with your x1s, y1s, x2s, y2s. Let's pause it so you can try by yourself, and then click play when you're ready to check your answer. Alright, so like always, creature of habit, my first set is my x1, y1, second set x2, y2. So I'm going to have negative 4 plus 3 divided by 2, and 6 plus negative 2 divided by 2. Okay, negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Negative 1 over 2 is just going to be negative half. And then 6 plus negative 2 is 4 over 2. So my answer would be negative 1/2, comma, 2. If you wanted to write that in decimal form, you could. I just left it as a fraction. Okay, that's all we're going to have for today's notes. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.